This is episode 104 of the After Gambling Podcast. In this episode, I'm going to answer the question I see posted so much online. Does anybody ever get better? And we're going to do so with a returning guest. Hey there, and welcome to the After Gambling Podcast. You know me by now. My name is Jamie. I am a former problem gambler. Now I do this little podcast to help people, help former problem gamblers, help their families, their friends. The list of people just seems to grow. I get a lot of emails and hopefully just shed a lot of light on this topic and share kind of the gambler's perspective, because this is a topic that is very much misunderstood. And today's topic, we're going to hit on that. As I teased in the intro, this is by far the number one question that I see, especially in the forums from family and friends. And as I know, we have more and more spouses tuning into the podcast to get a better understanding of what is my significant other going through, I figured this was a really good episode to answer that question. Does anybody actually get better? Because I'm sure it can feel frustrating. I've been there. I've been on both sides of this, where you look at the other person and you feel like everything's figured out, and then the other shoe drops again. And so it can feel overwhelming. It can seem like, are they ever going to get better? And the answer is, obviously, it depends. It depends on what work is put in. It depends on if they're willing and have a desire to get better. But I truly believe the people I've seen over the years, and just the number continues to grow and grow, that there's no secret. The people that put in the work, that go to GA or go to therapy or start doing one-on-one stuff, or just in general, start investing in understanding what makes them tick as a person. What makes them angry, what makes them happy, what makes them sad, what makes them frustrated, all of the above. When people really dive in and are curious about those topics and do it with the goal of quitting gambling, it works. Now, before I get to our guests for today, I do want to highlight a few things. First of all, today is the very first day of Problem Gambling Awareness Month for 2024. This is an effort that's led by the National Council on Problem Gambling. And this year's theme is Every Story Matters. And obviously, I think podcasts are about the best way possible to share stories and to share these stories that do matter. So I'm excited about this theme for the month. Look to produce a bunch of episodes, share a bunch of stories, share some more of my story, and really kind of get back into the swing of things here with Problem Gambling Awareness Month. But there are many other great podcasts out there. There are many other great content creators out there. And that is why I'm going to direct your attention to aftergambling.com. And at the top, there's a Get Help little drop-down button. And you can click on that. And right down below that is Other Gambling Addiction and Recovery Podcasts. And that gives you links to a bunch of the different ones that I know of in the space. If there's other ones that you want to add, feel free, message me, let me know. But there are so many great stories out there that I just want to kind of amplify all of these other podcasts all month long. So please go check them out. I'm sure you've probably listened to a bunch of them. And there might be some new ones for you. And the beautiful thing, some of them, they haven't produced a podcast in 2 or 3 years, but the content is still evergreen. It's good. The stories don't change. The stories stay the same. And so I encourage you to go check out those episodes that are 3, 4, or 5 years old, because there's going to be so much great information. And then also, I also have links, any of the ones where I can see where you can support the podcast. I would highly encourage you, find your content creator that you really like, support them. A lot of them, it's like small little donations, either a monthly donation or a one-time donation. This is just something we do because we want to help. But trust me, these things are not cheap. We come out of our own pocket. So if you're thinking about, hey, I'd really like to give back, or I'd really like to support one of the creators in the space, we would love it. Even above the monetary contribution, it's just the emotional lift that we get when we see, hey, somebody really appreciates this and they're willing to support us financially. So find those people. Listen to their stuff. If you really like it, you want to give them a small token of appreciation, this is the month to do so, and all month long throughout the year. But I would definitely encourage you to go to aftergambling.com, look up top under Get Help, and go check out those other podcasts in the space. Additionally, I've been doing a bunch of one-on-one calls in the last couple of months, people reaching out, giving advice, some coaching. If you're interested in that, there's information on the website. You can go check that out. My goal is to get you in and out, get you to the people that will be best for you and your situation. I see coaching as a short-term solution, short-term kind of just guide or redirect you to the right people. So whether you're a parent that's looking for some advice, normally the parent sessions in one session can give you kind of the groundwork of what to expect, what to look out for, as well as then just become your resource to guide you to either great therapists in the space or to your state's resources. So if you're interested in that, that is available. You can reach out to me and schedule a coaching session. And now I think it's a great time. Let's jump into the episode that I recorded actually back in October when Steve was celebrating his 9 years from his last bet. So this was a great conversation we had back then. Again, you can check him out on this episode and then go back. If you want to hear more about Steve's story, you can go back to episode 41. You can also find him online, and I will link to his Twitter handle in the show notes. But it is Steve Anonymous, and his handle is @gambling_free, FREE. So check out Steve. If you want to follow him, shoot him a message, tell him you really enjoyed the episode. That'd be great. So here's the little chat that I had with my good friend, Steve.
All right, Steve, it is fantastic to see you again. We've chatted in between, but 5 years since the last episode. Exactly, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't believe how quickly that's gone, to be fair. Obviously, episode 41, I think it was, 5 years ago. But yeah, really nice to come back on and be able to say I'm still gamble free. So yeah, it's great to be here, Jamie.
That's when I saw your post on Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it these days. I always call it Twitter. But I saw that you were coming up on your anniversary again. And I was like, oh my gosh, you said 5 years. I'm like, wait a second, there's no way it's been 5 years since we talked on the podcast. But then, yeah, it was 2018. So it's pretty wild how time flies, as your shirt says, which people can't see, but it is a wonderful 1 day at a time shirt, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's amazing how those 1 day at a time add up. But yeah, a lot's happened in those 5 years. But yeah, gone 9 years now since my last gamble. But it's almost a lifetime away. But it's gone really, really quick. So just unbelievable how those 1 days add up over time if you do the right things and make the right choices.
Absolutely. So tell me about it. I mean, obviously I have my own experience, but I'm curious to hear your experience. What's it been like? You said like the difference between 4 and 9, you say the days fly. And that was my experience. That time frame really does go fast. At first things feel like it's slow and you're never going to get going. And it's like the first 30 days feels like forever. But what's it been like 4 to 9 for you?
Yeah, I think if I just go back, for those who don't know my story, obviously I first came to Gamblers Anonymous 20 years ago. So I was 23 at the time. That was when I first admitted I had a gambling problem. And, I did quite well, did over 5 years without a gamble. But, life got better, started a family, got married, etc., bought a house, and just my recovery fell down my priority list. So I sort of drifted away from the meetings, stopped doing the right things, all the barriers and blocks I'd put in place drifted away over time, and I went back gambling again. But yeah, coming back to Gamblers Anonymous in October 2014, definitely, the first 30 days, the first 90 days, the first year did seem to go very slow. And I think, we often say this in our meetings, that the first year is probably one of the hardest things to do. If you can get to a year, you're well on your way to recovery. But because I'd been in that position before, I didn't want to get complacent. So, although, like we say, it's 1 day at a time, because that addiction's always there on your shoulder. We're never cured, unfortunately. So I was very wary that I'd been bitten before and gone back gambling. So second time around, try to do a few things differently and put some different things in place, go to different meetings, etc. And yeah, like I say, fast forward to 4 years on, and I was in a really good place 5 years ago. Put a lot of things in place, worked hard with my recovery, gone to a lot of meetings, helped a lot of people as well as myself. But yeah, a lot's happened in the last 5 years. Obviously, COVID came along, which was difficult at the start because, I was a person who needed to go to the meetings, that was my medicine. That was my higher power to stop me from going back gambling. So yeah, a lot of uncertainty when COVID came along, but fortunately for me, technology jumped in and we had things like Zoom meetings, and it opened up just a number of opportunities across the globe where I could go to a GA meeting every hour of every day, which was a fantastic learning experience for myself, but also, good that you could jump on 3, 4, 5 meetings a week without leaving your front room or your house, sort of thing. So yeah, that definitely was a bit of an eye opener for me. And although I did miss the sort of physical meetings, the face-to-face meetings, the Zoom meetings and the online meetings were a good substitute. But yeah, I mean, obviously, we talked quite a bit during COVID, and we had some Zoom meetings and things like that. So yeah, it just gave the opportunity to connect with people across the world who had a similar problem to myself, and obviously learning from other people and other experiences. And that's where, I've sort of learned a lot more about the 12-step recovery program, where, I've been in GA a number of years previously, but never really seriously gone through the 12-step recovery program. And it wasn't till obviously COVID and going to a number of different Zoom meetings, a lot in the States as well. And, there's a lot of talk around the 12-step program, recovery, having a sponsor, etc. And yeah, that really, really intrigued me. And I thought to myself, I've done 5 years before I went back gambling. I'd now done 4 or 5 years again. And I was almost at that point again where, I didn't want to repeat the past and get complacent again. So I needed to do something different, and maybe, going through the 12-step program, getting a sponsor, maybe that was something I could do differently this time.
Oh, definitely. And you bring up so many good points there. I mean, obviously COVID was a huge just change for all of us. I was the same boat. I was so used to going to the Monday night meetings. I remember at first my home group quickly transitioned to the online groups. But even that, it was uncomfortable and different, and you just didn't know what to do. And it's kind of nice now we can fast forward and see all the things that have changed. Like you said, the fact that there are meetings 24/7, 365, pretty much every hour of the day. That's like such a huge resource that COVID kind of brought out or exposed or kind of brought to light, I guess is the best way to say it. But yeah, in the time, I mean, it was kind of frightening and kind of scary. So were you kind of feeling the same way, kind of an uneasiness going into it?
Definitely, yes. Because like you say, there was none of this Zoom or anything like that at the start. But, very quickly we realised that, as everything was getting locked down and shut down in the UK and across the world, we needed to adapt. And I think, fortunately, one of the first online meetings I went to was a group in Rotherham, which is not my usual home group, but, a group where I knew a few people, and they invited me to that. And obviously learning from what they'd put in place with Zoom and stuff like that, I was able to share that with my meetings. And again, that opened up then, we could have meetings twice a week, 3 times a week, and get people on and get talking about our recovery. But unfortunately, one of the meetings I used to go to, sort of that fell to the wayside during COVID because some people just weren't willing to adapt to the Zoom meetings, the online meetings. But the other meeting I go to, that went from strength to strength, and thankfully, that's still going today, and we're back to face now. But yeah, definitely at the time, it was really uncertain. I was worried because I knew I needed the meetings. So, online were better than nothing for me at that time. But yeah, it's good having that network in recovery anyway. Obviously reaching out to people on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. And that's where, I reached out to my future sponsor because I'd heard him sharing on Twitter that he'd gone through the program. I'd been on meetings with him, on Zoom meetings, and he talked around, how it had changed his life. So definitely that opened a few doors for me. And, I was really pleased sort of beginning of 2021, my sponsor Kev agreed to take me through the program. And like I say, that was a real eye opener for me. Started going to some Alcoholics Anonymous online meetings, not because I'm an alcoholic, but because, they were very structured. very much talking around the 12-step recovery program, and how to change your life really. So yeah, that was a real eye opener for me. Quite nervous going into a room full of alcoholics, being a gambler, but as soon as I went into the room, I felt I was in the right place. I could relate to everything that it was talking about. Obviously talking about the steps, I was going through the steps. So yeah, that was an important period for me, just to learn about this recovery program and really get my head down, knuckle down, and put the hard work in. So yeah, probably 9 months probably took me to go through the 12 steps. So I was having weekly sessions with my sponsor, checking in with him every day, really. But yeah, it was a lot of hard work, a lot of work on myself, a lot of reflection, a lot of making amends to people that I'd hurt along the way, through the stuff I was doing, through my gambling. And, like I say, just trying to remove some of those character defects, make myself a better person, one day at a time. I'll never be perfect, but each day now I get up and I say a couple of prayers to my higher power, and that just focuses me for the day. And like I say, just for today, I won't gamble. I've not gambled for, I think, something like 3,288 days or 9 years to be precise. And that's me now. I'm not looking at, I want to get to 10 years, I want to get to 20 years. It's just, I'm not going to gamble for today. Hopefully I have a good day. If I make a mistake or do something wrong, I'll admit it, I'll apologize, and I'll move on, sort of thing. So yeah, going through the 12 steps, obviously going to those Alcoholic Anonymous meetings, that was a real learning curve for me, but really glad I put that effort in, and reaping the benefits now, to be honest.
Oh, definitely. So what was it about the 12 steps specifically compared, because obviously you'd spent many years in GA the first time, and then kind of obviously the second time around. What was it? Just the depth of exploration that you did? What did you find to be so helpful from kind of the 12-step structure?
Yeah, I think definitely the depth of it, the structure of it. It gave my recovery a bit of structure on a daily basis and a weekly basis. Doing the tasks, obviously speaking to my sponsor about it on a weekly basis, sharing in the meetings what I was doing with the other people who were going through a similar thing. But yeah, I learned a lot about myself. Learned a lot around probably my character, probably why the reasons I might have been gambling. Obviously, trying to build my self-esteem and things like that. Trying to be the big shot. It was my ego a lot of the times. But yeah, I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the addiction. Learned a lot about recovery program, and I think it just gave me that extra shield, an extra layer of focus to take that into my recovery. It took it to another level, to be honest. The big thing, it was being able to ask for help. So I'd been in GA before. I'd never had a sponsor. So just having that sponsor, that person you can contact 24/7 if something's wrong, even if something, having a good day, contact your sponsor. And just having that person there to contact, that was a massive help for me, because before, I think, I know what I'm doing. I've been here a number of years. I can do, I know what to do. I know what all the advice is. I know what to do in GA. But sort of, making myself a bit vulnerable and thinking, I do need this help. I do need this higher power to help me. It just switched my focus slightly and enabled me to, like I say, really delve into my recovery, but also, pass on that message to other people who are struggling too. So it's been really good going through the 12 steps. But like I say, the 12th step is obviously sharing the message and helping others. So it's been really great in the last couple of years to take other people through the steps and take them through the program, and great to see how they've come forward and come on with their recovery in their lives as well. So yeah, obviously it's about giving it back as well after you've been through it.
Yeah, I mean, this is brilliant stuff. I mean, it kind of confirms a lot of things I've seen in myself and other people as well. But and it makes sense, right? It's like you go through it once, and you kind of start to get the feel for it. And like GA literature even says, like, you don't have to know why you gambled in order to stop. And I think some people get that confused with, I don't need to know why, and they never go exploring more. And that's always been something that I've always seen that as a vulnerability for people, and especially myself. I need to identify these character defects. I need to identify the things, the paths where I made the wrong choice. And it really is, a lot of that is just kind of this deep exploration and going back and going through it. And like you said, going through it with other people to kind of trigger some thoughts or ideas that you didn't even notice at the time. And I think there's tremendous value in that. And that's why it's one of those things. And maybe at first you're not ready to go through that level and that depth, but as time goes on, I think naturally, I think we become curious and we're like, okay, we really do want to know more about what led us to the place that we got to. And that's, I think, where the 12 steps really kind of shine.
Yeah, I think the thing I always say is that everybody's recovery is different. So like you say, some people might come in at day one, they're at rock bottom and they need something, they need the steps there and then. But some people, it might be the first 90 days or the first 6 months. It's just about stopping gambling. It's about abstinence. The recovery stuff can come later. Rome wasn't built in a day. So just concentrate on stopping gambling. And then, like I say, further down the line, when you've sort of the weight's lifted off your shoulders a bit and, things have settled down a bit, that's when you can start thinking about your recovery and being a better person. So, yeah, everybody's recovery is different. It's not one size fits all. But yeah, definitely, when you're ready, then, you only know when you're ready to go through the steps. Nobody's forcing people to go through the steps. It's not everybody's cup of tea. Same as Gamblers Anonymous is not everybody's cup of tea. There's different ways to recover. And I respect, everybody if they've not had a bet today. So, yeah, it's each to their own. But all I can share is obviously through my experiences, what's worked for me over the last 9 years. And it's definitely through going to the Gamblers Anonymous meetings and obviously going through the 12-step recovery program.
Definitely. This is fantastic. And I guess the question I have is, how has this impacted you other areas of life? Right. I mean, because we go in and we know at first, like you say, the first 30 days, 60 days is about just stopping gambling. But then as we start going on, I mean, you start working on these things, what kind of knock-on effect have you seen of doing the 12 steps? How's that improved career or family, or where else do you notice kind of these changes in your character popping up in other areas?
Yeah, I mean, what I will say, if my wife is listening to this, I'm not perfect by any means. I'm still a long way to go, but I have made significant progress. But
it's an important asterisk to put on there.
Yeah. Just a disclaimer there in case she's listening. But yeah, if I go back 9 years, look at where I was to where I am now, it's 1,000,000% different. Obviously, 9 years ago, my children were both young. They've grown up now. They're both at high school, both doing really well academically, obviously, and also from a sporting point of view. And I like to think that, I've been there to guide them and coach them. And, hopefully I've been a good role model for them in that aspect. A lot of the things I wanted through gambling, I wanted the nice house, the nice car, nice holidays, nice clothes. They're all the things probably I was gambling for when I was in my, teenage years, early 20s. All those things now I've got through not gambling. So yeah, it's amazing that, everything you want you can get through not gambling. Whereas when you're in that cycle of addiction, you think the only way you can get anything is through winning it. Obviously, if you lose, you want to chase it, you want to win it back, and if you win, you want to win more, you want to double it, you want to treble it, etc., to try and get that magic number. But it's never enough for a compulsive gambler. You're always going to want more. So, yeah, like I say, from a career point of view, I've had 100% pay rise at work. That's obviously because I'm not gambling all my wages. But seriously, I've had a number of promotions, pay rises, bonuses, etc. And the job I'm doing today, it's a fantastic job for a fantastic company. The only downside is obviously, there's still that stigma around gambling addiction in the workplace, especially in the UK. So I'm not open and honest around my addiction and my recovery at work. But that's why I try and remain a bit of anonymity on X and stuff like that. But the job I've got, I couldn't ask for a better job, and it helps pay for things like holidays, trips, experiences for the family. And it's all those things that I'm doing now that, like I say, that's what I was gambling for, to try and go on these nice holidays, go to nice places, go for nice experiences, etc. But it's when you're not gambling, you don't have to worry about these things. If you just work hard, get your head down, do the right things, you can do all these things. You've got the time to do all these things, and you want to do all these things, because when I was gambling, all I was interested in was putting that bet on. I wasn't interested in anything else. I didn't have a purpose in life. But now, like I say, I'm helping other people, got a good job, bringing my kids up. I've got a real purpose in life, and it's something that that fulfills me on a daily basis. I don't need gambling anymore. I don't miss the buzz of gambling, because I've got positive experiences that I'm getting those buzzes on a daily basis. So yeah, massive turnaround. Done lots of amazing things over the last 9 years. Been to lots of amazing places. Running's been a big thing for me. That's been a big time filler. Obviously good for my physical health, but good for my mental health as well. So definitely exercise and running has been a big thing for me. Done a marathon. I think when we talked last time, I just got into the London Marathon, and in 2019 I completed it. I'd have liked to go on a little faster, but maybe next time I can break that 4-hour mark. But yeah, running's still a big passion of mine. Football is a big passion of mine, or soccer, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, really look forward to still play a bit of football. I go and watch football, and now I'm starting coaching. I'm coaching children at the minute. So again, just giving something back from a football point of view. All these things, if I was gambling, I wouldn't do any of this, because I wouldn't have the time, and I wouldn't be bothered to do it. So yeah, definitely got a lot more things to focus on now. Now I'm not gambling, and it's good that I'm reaping the rewards. And when I go to my GA meetings, I share some of these positive things, and people can see that, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it really is like looking at two different lives, isn't it? I mean, I think back to my like kind of gambling life, and the desires and the thoughts and the fears and all the things. Now you look at your life now and my life now, it's like it just seems like completely different people. And it is. And I think it's a testament to growth. I think we both were very young when we started gambling, and it's like a lot of very youthful, societal driven things about money and cars and all these things, and stories about how we were going to get there. And we were probably pretty afraid of like, okay, what if we don't make it? What if we don't end up successful? And I think it's a testament to you, obviously, to showcase that, hey, like you can actually do this the right way. And I'm sure the other part is it just feels so much better, right? I mean, like there was a gambling win. Like at the end of the day, it was hollow, because you knew you didn't really do anything, and it was like just luck. And I think deep down, and I see with a lot of people that still gamble, it's like even when they win, there's just not an enjoyment, because I think they didn't achieve something. It's not in there. It's nothing they can really hold on to. You can't grasp it. You can't say, oh, okay, I spent the last 6 months working on this project at work, developing this thing, developing this relationship. Like you say, like coaching kid, like I do the same. And we just transitioned from baseball into basketball season, and I absolutely love it. It's like, it's something I can give my attention and focus to that. And I'd be sad, man, if I woke up and I was 90 and I was like, somebody showed me my life and I said, oh, you missed that section because you were gambling. Like that would have been a tragic end. It would have just been sad. So yeah, you're a fantastic testament in all these regards. So it's been fantastic hearing where you are.
Yeah, and I think it's good to share these positive things, because we see a lot of the horror stories. People struggling, a lot of people joining Twitter or X every day, at the start of their journey. And I think it's good to share some of the positive stories that people can recover. And I always
we're becoming
say
the old guys.
Yeah. But I think I try to say to people, enjoy your recovery, because you see some people come to meetings they've been off gambling for a number of months or a number of years, but they're still miserable. So you know what I mean. You got to really embrace it. You've got to change your ways. Like I say, sometimes you've got to make drastic changes in your life. You know, put yourself first. But no, I think having the positive role models is really good. But also, you know, that's why I still go to the GA meetings, because when you do get a new person walk in the room on day one, you know, it's good to have a bit of a flashback to those sort of horror stories. And we've all been there, you know, we've all sat in that chair on the first meeting and sort of told our story. So yeah, although it's probably not good for the new members, it's really good for us more experienced members, that when we're in that room and we hear somebody really struggling at their rock bottom, it just takes you back to where you were. And, you know, it's a real grounding moment sort of thing. And that's the power of the meetings. But, you know, definitely, you know, I see myself going to GA meetings for the rest of my life, because, you know, they really do work for myself. We've got a great little group at the meeting I go to at the minute in Nottingham. You know, we've got some real good core members there who's been going for a number of years. You know, a few members who's been going longer than I have, sort of thing. So it's a real testament to the group and the sort of the unity within GA that we've got people going there. But also, you know, great when other people from other meetings come, and, you know, you can just, it's great to see new faces all the time. It's great to see the same faces, but it's great to see the new faces as well, and hear new stories and new perspectives on gambling and recovery. So yeah, you know, I'll be a big advocate for Gamblers Anonymous meetings, just because what it's done for me and how it's transformed my life. But like I said earlier, it's not everybody's cup of tea. It doesn't work for everybody. But, you know, if you've tried it once and it doesn't work, don't be afraid to go back. You know, that's what I did. I did over 5 years, stopped going to the meetings. I went back gambling. Could have very easily not gone back to GA. But, you know, at the time in 2014, when, you know, 9 years to this day, that's when my wife got a bit suspicious, to be honest, and asked to look at my credit card statements. And I knew my time was up, sort of thing, because as soon as I handed the statements, there was all the gambling companies, all the transactions on there. And I knew, you know, I'd been caught out. Would I have stopped gambling if I hadn't got found out? Probably not. You know, I needed that moment, you know, to get caught out, to really sort of make me think about, was gambling more important than my family? You know, more important than my relationship, my wife, more important than my kids? And, you know, it was that jolt really 9 years ago today that really made me think, no, you know, I need to put a stop to this. I need to go back to Gamblers Anonymous. It was a bit hard going back to the meetings with my tail between my legs, because, like I say, I was the man. I'd done over 5 years gambling free. You know, I was a big part of the group. But yeah, you know, I had to go back. I had to hold my hand up and say, yeah, you know, I've been gambling again. But as soon as I walked back into the room, I knew I was in the right place. I got a friendly reception. You know, nobody judged me. Nobody told me I was an idiot or anything like that. You know, they understood what had happened. And that's what it's all about. You know, you get that hand of friendship. You get a lot of empathy within the room. Nobody judges you. And to me, that's why it's so special and so powerful. So, yeah, looking forward to going to the meeting on Sunday night, and obviously talking and reflecting on my 9 years, because, yeah, I've had a busy week, to be fair, Jamie. So I've not really thought about it too much. So it's been good just coming on tonight and just reflecting a little bit. But yeah, I'm sure I'll reflect a bit more as the week goes on, and then be able to share a bit with my group on Sunday evening.
No, I think it's fantastic. And that's you highlight so many important points. One is obviously not being afraid to go back and thinking that people are going to judge you. I've never seen that happen. I mean, I've seen people, whether it's after a couple of weeks or a couple of months or a couple of years, like, it's always a welcoming. People are happy to see you, right? Because you just want people to get well. I mean, you want to help yourself, you want to help other people, and that's really what it's all about. So that's a key message. And the other thing, I don't know, I'll throw this out to you. I almost feel like Gamblers Anonymous almost need to rebrand stuff. It's like the beginning is like helping people quit gambling, but then over time, it's like helping people with their lives. It's like Because at first, I remember there was a guy, Jim, and he's since passed, but he was one of the guys. My first night we went in, there was like 100 years of clean time. There was like a guy with 30 years, 25 years. And the one guy, and I got to know him over time, and he would always say, yeah, when I first came in, I saw this guy with 5 years. I said, what's this guy still coming for? And he would always laugh about that. And then at that point, he had 20 some years. But you start to realize that over time, it's like, okay, this is helping me with my job. This is helping me with my life. This is helping me with all aspects. And so it becomes one of those things. It's like the quitting gambling just becomes a nice little feature alongside all the other things that you get out of any type of 12-step meeting. So,
Yeah, I think, like I say, initially when a lot of people come into the rooms, they see it as a financial problem. They're in a
right.
lot of debt, a lot of financial issues. But, if you stop gambling, the financial side of it looks after itself. Yeah, there's some people who've gone, way into debt and they have to go through bankruptcy and stuff like that. I understand that. But, a lot of the people, the financial side looks after itself. It's the emotional side, it's the mental health side, the relationship side. They're the things that take obviously longer to heal. And like you say, that might take months, years, and forever sort of thing. But I think what I like is obviously, I think you've got to be a little bit selfish because obviously at the end of the day, you're there for yourself, you're there for your own recovery. But like you say, the more you put into the meetings, the more you get out of them. And, you take from Gamblers Anonymous and help yourself, but you need to give it back as well. So if you can help other people as well, that's a bonus, and that helps your recovery. And that's why I like doing these podcasts. When I did the last one, I had quite a few people reach out to me because they'd listen to the podcast, obviously connect with me, message with me and stuff like that. So, if I can help one person who's listening to this tonight to, do something different and make a change around their gambling, then that's fantastic. And that's the reason I'm doing this sort of thing, just to, if I can just help one person tonight, then who's listening to this to, go and seek some help, go to a recovery meeting, whether it's Gamblers Anonymous or whatever, that's what it's all about. But number one, I want to look after myself and protect my family. And that's why I go to the meetings.
No, definitely. Well, you are a fantastic ambassador for Gamblers Anonymous and just life in general, right? I mean, you want to live an honest, truthful life, and it's refreshing to hear, and you can just see in your face how relaxed you are. And these are all the things we want out of life. It's like you have the family, you have the career, and you have the peace of mind is the most important part. And so I don't know, I'm very thankful that we've gotten to know each other over the years. And yeah, it's always been fantastic catching up. Any last thoughts that you have for obviously the new people or the people that are in the 5-year stage, that they're kind of entering that stage where they're going from 5 to 9? Any thoughts or ideas that you want to share with them?
Yeah, I think because I'd been there before, I think complacency is a big thing where, you've done a number of years off gambling, your life's back on track, everything's rosy at home and stuff like that. It's very easy to get complacent and think you don't need the meetings anymore, you don't need Gamblers Anonymous anymore. So yeah, it's very easy to sort of drift away and get complacent. But yeah, I'm just hoping that I'm a sort of a lesson to people that, if you think you're cured, you think you've cracked it, and you stop coming, you can go back. Anybody can go back. You've always got that addiction on your shoulder, and if you don't go to your meetings, you don't make the right choices, there's a good chance you could go back. But I think the key thing is, obviously, if you think you have got a problem, tell somebody about it, reach out to somebody, whether it's somebody, close to your family, friends, etc. Just speak about it. Like I said earlier, don't be afraid to go to a meeting, because there'll be people there who'll know what you're going through and be able to understand you and hopefully give you some advice. And just connect with people. I think, like you say, we've connected over Twitter over the years. I've connected with a lot of people on Twitter and met up with people. And, that's how I got to know my sponsor, Kev, through Twitter initially, sort of thing. But definitely there's a lot of great people on this network. So, message them, connect with them, listen to them and learn from their experiences. But at the end of the day, it's down to you. nobody can recover for you. It's your own recovery, and you've got to own it and be accountable for it. So, just if you want it bad enough, it's there. Gamblers Anonymous works if you make it work. So I think it's the message is people can recover. You can have a fantastic life, or you can carry on gambling and just carry on with the misery sort of thing. So yeah, there is a choice there. But now I'd just like to say thanks for letting me come on and share again, Jamie. It's been great to talk to you again. Great to see you again. And hopefully, we'll get a good reaction as the episode 41 5 years ago.
I am confident that we will. And yeah, I echo everything you said. It's just been fantastic to meet you over the years. I congratulate you on 9 years. Enjoy the rest of today. Time difference, you still have a few more hours to enjoy this day. But then, like you say, then you'll wake up tomorrow and do it all over again. And especially excited for you. I know you're going to enjoy yourself at your 9 year at your home meeting. So really enjoy that. Soak that in.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm just finishing off with a beer before I go to bed sort of thing. So yeah, it's been a long day, but like I say, an enjoyable day. And I always like to celebrate this milestone. Some people don't like to celebrate milestones, but like I say, everybody's recovery is different. But definitely, I'm looking forward, not looking back. So, today's a good day. I've not had a bet. Do the same tomorrow, and if I make the right choices, I can have a good day. And that's how I'm just living my life at the minute, one day at a time. And hopefully, long may it continue. And I'll be glad to come on and do a third episode. I don't know if anybody's done 3 episodes on your podcast, so that could be a first. So
no, I
look forward to that.
I think you have to come back on and do the 10 year. I mean, we just have to plan it. I should just write it in my calendar right now. So we'll handle that one. But no, I'm looking forward to it. It's been fantastic as always. People want to reach out to you, I'll share your Twitter handle with everybody. We'll put that in the show notes. And yeah, thanks for being you. Thanks for coming on and sharing your story, because I know it. When you say if you can help one person, I know you will help many, many people at all stages. And that's kind of the cool thing is you've been through these stages, you've been through them, and to be able to share what you've learned is fantastic. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. I'll just end with saying my name's Steve. I'm a compulsive gambler, and my last bet was 9 years ago today. Thank you very much.
It was awesome to reconnect with Steve. This is one of the beautiful things about doing this is I've talked about gambling being something that isolates us. And especially now that everything's online, it's all digital. You're dealing with your smartphone app. You're not talking to anybody. You're not even talking to somebody at the counter to place your bets. It's all on the phone. And so we need this connection. And for me, connecting with people through the podcast has been a fantastic thing. So it was awesome to reconnect with Steve. And yeah, we already have it planned for him to come back and celebrate his tenure and become the first 3-time guest of the show. Now, as I say at the end of each one of these, Steve, myself, we're not doctors, we're not lawyers, we're not therapists, we're not any of those things. We're just a couple guys that really have gotten to understand gambling addiction from our own experiences and from helping others and getting to know what others are going through. So keep in mind, this is just for informational purposes. You deserve the help. Go get that professional help. There's no need to struggle anymore. So while things like the podcast and self-help guides are great, definitely try and reach out and expand and improve over time. I say this as someone who has greatly benefited from all of the above. Now, as I said in the intro, you can go check out those other content creators, see what they have to say. There's so many great voices, so many great stories in the space. And by all means, please go and support them as well. It's very important to me to highlight that we need to support some of these initiatives so that they don't go away. So check those out. Finally, music for the show is Something Elated by Broke for Free and is licensed under the Creative Commons license. My name is Jamie, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.